on it. By the way, I'm going to try to talk him into Monday, too, because I want his response. But I know he's been a little under the weather, and he's going to join us right now, Angelo Cataldi. He joins us now here on the show here. Angelo, thank you so much. How you feeling, brother? Look at
I'm doing better. I had influenza A. I even got tested. I put that thing up my nose, and I thought had COVID. It was influenza A, 4 or 5 days of it. And now I'm sick of waiting. Now I just want to watch the game. Let's do the game there.
Wait a minute, Angelo. I heard you came down with 5-win syndrome. That's what I think.
5 days. One for each of the stupid wins I predicted this year. It's God's revenge on me, Dan.
Oh, my God. Angelo, tell me this, what you think. What do the Eagles have to do in 59 that they didn't do in 57, you think, for them to bring this game home? Obviously win, but, I mean, what's the one thing you think they have to do different than what they didn't do in that game?
Well, there's 2 things definitely on defense they need to do, which they most definitely did not do under the awful coordinator they had 2 years ago, Jonathan Gannon. And boy, hasn't he dazzled the NFL since he went to Arizona. But the 2 things they have to do, one is they got to keep Mahomes bottled up. I don't like him running for all those first downs. He does that a lot. He runs more in the bigger games than any other time, and you got to keep in the pocket, keep him trapped in there. And the second thing, it blows my mind how no teams have been able to do this during the great run the Chiefs have had. 3rd down, double up Travis Kelce. Don't let him get to the marker and catch the football, because it's almost too easy the way they do it. They do those 2 things. They got a fairly officiated game. The rest will take care of itself. Saquon will take care of the offense. And when he isn't, Hurts will be throwing the ball to Brown and Smith, and they're not going to have a problem. But they got to keep Mahomes and Kelce from cutting their throat. And it's amazing to me how few teams have been able to do that. But this Eagles team has talent to do it, and they got the coaching to do it, Vic Fangio. So I really think they should be able to handle that assignment. If they do that, the rest is going to be fine.
Angelo, the distractions of Kellen Moore, supposedly he's filling out his coaching staff, and there was even a conversation yesterday that the organization, guess what I heard, Angelo, that down in New Orleans, albeit how funny, it's like the same situation that Gannon had when he was out in Arizona, but this time I heard Mickey Loomis and the Saints and the Eagle guys actually met for 45 minutes this week because the organization doesn't want to get caught with their pants down on what potential players and coaches that they may take off that roster. I mean, Clint Hurt could become the defensive coordinator, or Bobby King, the linebacker coach, could become the coordinator with the Saints. So they're doing everything a little more transparency this time around. But surely, Angelo, if there's a guy that's got a job out there, one of the ultimate jobs, you're going to go from making $2 million a year to making $8 million a year over the next 3 years. Do you think that this is a thing, or is this something that they can departmentalize and put to the side this time because they learned what went on in 57?
Well, the big difference is the people involved. Jonathan Gannon is an incompetent. He was horrible here, and he will be horrible for the remainder of his career in the NFL. Kellen Moore is highly competent. Plus, I mean, Gannon had to figure out how to stop Mahomes when Mahomes was on a run. Mahomes is not playing the level he was 2 years ago, all right? Kellen Moore has to figure out how to turn the ball and hand it to Barkley and watch Barkley run for a touchdown. Seems less complicated to me. Seems like the assignment for Moore is less challenging than the one that Gannon had to do. I don't see a problem with it. Everyone knows Moore's going to be the coach of the Saints. That's fine. He's earned it. He's had a remarkable year here. He's done a great job. It doesn't worry me. Dan, the things that worry me are so simple this time. It's Sirianni screwing something up. Because, see, They found a way. They developed a mechanism that's almost Nick-proof, right? Offense handled by Moore, defense by Fangio, special teams by Clay. What's he got to do? As long as he doesn't do something stupid, right? Just stand there and plan your celebration. And the other thing are those damn refs. And people, the commissioner can get up all he wants and say it's a ridiculous
I agree with you.
theory. It's not ridiculous. See, here's the problem that Roger Goodell didn't figure out. The games are televised. And then people get the tape and they put it on the internet, and you can see all the awful calls that have been made that favor the Chiefs over the last 4 seasons. You can see it. Well, I got to assume the narrative on that. It's been a really loud narrative all week. More talk about officiating than I could ever remember before a Super Bowl. When those refs are on that field, Dan, and they're about to grab that flag to throw kind of nuts, like the Bradbury call 2 years ago that cost the Eagles a Super Bowl. I'm thinking they're going to hold back on throwing that thing and stay out of the line of fire. And that's going to help the Eagles tremendous. If those refs hand this game to the Chiefs Sunday, there'll be an international scandal.
How about this, Angelo? Don't you agree? If the game is called tight, that favors Philly. If the game is called loose, that favors KC because there's more interpretation for them and to be able to make that call, because pass interference is such a subjective call that
Right.
you give that kind of autonomy of being a loose ball game. Again, I hate when the refs, the NBA has it where they could throw Shaq or they could throw Embiid out of a ball game with the 6th penalty. I hate that rule, and I hate PI because it's a spot foul. I actually like the college rule. It's a 15-yard penalty. That turns games, field position, what have you, momentum.
Oh.
Do you agree? If it's called tight, it's an Eagle win.
I think it's going to be fine either way because the Eagles have more talent. The Eagles are a better team. See, to me, it's not as complicated as sometimes we make it. The Eagles have a better roster. Offensively, they have more weapons. There are more ways they can beat you. And they got the ultimate weapon. They can control the run game with the best runner in the game, Saquon Barkley, behind a great offensive line for the rush. To me, that, unless you're going to start calling holes on the Eagles' offensive line, those holes are going to still be there. You watched the middle of the game, the AFC Championship game, and how easily the Bills moved the ball down the field. They got back in the game on the ground.
They did.
And if James Wood can run for 6.5 yards a carry, what's Barkley going to run for?
Oh,
Eagles have the Dan. If it's called fear and Sirianni doesn't find a way to screw it up, the Eagles are going to win the game. The Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
Angelo, tell me if you agree or disagree. I've been saying this all week. I don't believe the Eagles defense can stop Mahomes, but I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that Kansas City could stop that Eagle offense and that O-line and Barkley, which means this. It favors more the team that can control the clock and field position with the run game and with Hurts running the ball. You're going to have to prove to me, Angelo, that defense, you had the number 2 defense 2 years ago going into that game, and it turned out to be like the 25th ranked defense because of the guy was house hunting in Scottsdale, whatever the hell he was doing. I agree with that 100%. You got a more competent coordinator in the room. Everything is lining up. But nobody has stopped that team in a Super Bowl except Brady. You're going to have to show me. Now, I don't believe Kansas City is going to stop it. I think that O-line's the best O-line you've ever had. Am I wrong?
You watch these games the way I do. I think I watched every snap of every KC game this year. Sometimes I had a little wager on it even, right? And I'm going to tell you, they're not that offensive juggernaut they have been.
No.
They've actually been carried more defensively this year than offensively. And I see them spinning their wheels because, first of all, I'm not sure how they're going to handle Jalen Carter in the middle. I don't know how they're going to do it. Nobody's really been able to do it yet. And the other X factor that the Eagles didn't have 2 years ago, they did not have a linebacker like Zach Bourne who's all over the field, who's fast, who could, if you need him to, shadow Mahomes, or on third down, stick with Kelce over the middle. The Eagles have more ways to stop that than they did. The problem that the Eagles had 2 years ago is they didn't really contour the defense to stop Kelce the way they needed to. They got burned. And then whenever it was it looked like they had to stop, boom, here comes the flag to beat you. I don't think those things are going to happen. I think a lot of people are reacting to the Chiefs for their whole run here, which has been 4 or 5 years since Mahomes got there, rather than looking at what they've done this year, which is offensively less than they have. And I think defensively, they've been better than they have been, but not for what the Eagles are throwing at them, not for the Barkley running game. The Barkley running game, you're right, will control the clock and should control the game.
So, Angelo, you think more people are looking at the resume of the Chiefs instead of looking at the now of what – because you're right, Kansas City is grinding these games out. All the one-score games this year has been different. They've got a limited running attack with Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. I mean, if you think about it, look at their offense. They don't have a 1,000-yard receiver. They don't have a 1,000-yard back. The quarterback didn't even throw for $4,000. You're saying that they're kind of living off of what they've done in the past here. They're a good team. No one's saying they're not. They're well coached, but they're not the team. You think they're the lesser of the teams from the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and you think the Eagles are better than they were 2 years ago?
Without a doubt. And the Eagles should have won 2 years ago. Honestly,
yes,
the Bills were as good as the Chiefs are now, but the Bills couldn't get a call. They couldn't get a fair mark. If they just marked the first down right, when the Bills are up a point with 12 minutes to go, if they just call that right, it's the first down, it's probably the Bills the Eagles are worried about right now instead of the Chiefs. That's why I keep coming back to the officiating. The commissioner, all these lapdog media people. Oh, it's not. It nothing to do with the officiating. Watch the freaking games, you morons.
I think it is.
Huge bearing on it. Call it fair. Hold a parade. That's my game plan in Philadelphia this week. Call it fair. Get the parade ready.
I agree, man. You know what? Even Troy Aikman during the broadcast was making it. I mean, and Aikman, you're kind of told not to rip the NFL refs. And I even tweeted out too, Angelo, I go, they're not even being blatant now. They're just doing it in front of your faces now. And then they come up there and they go, well, it's insulting. It's irresponsible. You're like this. Are you watching the same games I'm watching? That guy got that first down. I completely agree with you guys here. Let me throw this at you here. On Sunday, let's go with where you're going here. The Eagles win this Super Bowl. What does that game and who does that game do more for, Howie or Nick, in your opinion?
Howie Roseman had as good an offseason as you will ever see a GM have in any sport. The whole defensive secondary was remade through the draft. Bourne has been phenomenal in the middle. They brought in a defensive coordinator who actually knew how to get Jalen Carter to stay in shape. What are the odds, right? All that stuff lined up together. They even got Brandon Graham back if they need a big play. Don't rule that guy out. All he knows how to do is pick the right moment to make the play. If the Eagles are holding on at the end and they need one play to secure the win, I'm still looking for Brandon Graham to make it. This Eagles team is a team of destiny to me, even though I was the last one in America to actually see it. But now that I see it, I love Barkley. We don't even talk about the receivers anymore. I need a third down. Am I throwing the ball number 11, A.J. Brown? Think he's going to make that play? Do they have a guy other than Kelce? Put him separate. Do they have a wide receiver that could do what A.J. Brown could do? They have a wide receiver that could do what A.J. Brown could do? Or Devontae Smith? Do they have, to me, when I need a big run and Barkley isn't giving it to me, I'll let my quarterback do it. And let's see him stop the tush push. Let's see how they do that.
I don't think
4-1. Let's see them try to screw us on the mark there when Hurts goes through the pile for 6 yards. Tell me that he didn't get the first down, you liars.
I'm with you.
Have a great here.
I'm with you, man. Here, Angelo, you tell me this, and this is how I see our friend. And you know what? I know that me and you hate it because you know why? All great Italians. Maybe it's why he doesn't have an O at the end of his name, DiMaggio, De Niro. You know, I mean, wait a minute, he does have an I. There are I's and O's, and we always have the great Italians. Okay, with the I's and the O's here. Why do I look at Angelo? Why do I look at Sirianni and do this? He's the most replaceable guy in that building.
Oh,
I mean, and if Jeffrey Lurie wins another Super Bowl without Andy Reid, doesn't that make him look at this and go, I could put anybody in that position. They'll have the success because we picked the coordinators, we picked the style of system, we picked the players. Does the win do anything for Nick, or is that just going to be for the national media to look from 35,000 feet and go, this guy's a great coach? Because I'm still with you. I think he's a product of the organization. He didn't make the culture in that building.
You know, I got a notice about 2 hours ago on my cell phone, and it said, Nick Sirianni presser coming up now. I turned the phone off, right? Because here's the thing. It's similar to what I was saying about the refs. You can't miss the guy because he's doing these news conferences every day, and he comes across every day like a stunad, all right? If you listen to him, you say to yourself, how the hell is that guy a genius? He's not. You understand? The Eagles, to their credit, you want to talk about the great offseason Harry Roseman had. Somehow Roseman and Lurie figured out, well, the only way we can keep the Sirianni around is to have him actually coach nobody. So put all the different units in charge.
And bring better coaches around him.
Yes, of course. They just went, just stay there. When they call you the CEO in football, they're basically saying you don't do much of anything. So they just trot him out there. Listen to the guy. He doesn't. There's nothing he ever says that makes you go, wow, that guy's got some inside knowledge I never considered. No, it's like it's this miracle that he got this job and has this record. And Dan, I'll be on my deathbed. And they'll go, Sirianni just won 7 straight championships. Acknowledge the guy's a genius. And I'll go, kill me now. Turn off the machine. I'm done. I'll never believe it.
I'm on your side, and I'm not going to change either on this.
I'll never believe it.
I don't either. Angelo, what side of the ball do you think has to take control of the game on Sunday? The offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball?
Sure. Without a doubt, the offense, because they've got the wherewithal to do it with the running game, and because it keeps Mahomes off the field. And the more Mahomes is on the field, he so much of what he does is improvisational. It's something you can't really prepare for. You know, he'll be out in the flats and there'll be 2 guys coming at him. He'll just flip the ball out to a running back. He'll get the first down. That kind of stuff. There's just so much. He is a brilliant improvisational quarterback, the best I've ever seen. So you want him on the field as little as you can. You can get the ball for 35, 38 minutes. You're going to be taking a lot away from now. So, yeah, it's the offense that needs to control it. And there's not a reason in the world why they shouldn't. You know, I mean, they know what they're doing. They block brilliantly. They've got the best runner. It's all there, Dan. There's nothing to stop.
Angel, let me show you this, though. In Super Bowl 57, and I agree with you, they're better now. But in Super Bowl 57, and I'm going to say it, I think they gagged it away. They had a 10-point lead. And here's the other gag to it.
They did.
They ran 75 plays, and the Chiefs only ran 50.
It's crazy.
You had another full quarter of series and plays that you got beat. So this time around, do you think they have to gamble? Do you think, and I'm not saying Philly, but do you think maybe on your 38 on 4th and 2, you have to do something like that in the second quarter where you go for it, or maybe you don't kick that field goal? Or do you think it's more on Kansas City's side that they're going to have to gamble in this because Philly is too physical for them, in your opinion?
In my position, I would believe that I would actually, this is where I get a little nervous with Sirianni because I'm not going to sacrifice field position. I'm not giving Mahomes short fields.
That's
I'm
right.
not going to do that. That's playing into their hands. I've got a good defense. I don't need to do that. I'm going to punt. If I'm fourth and two, if it's half a yard with the tush push, I'm going to go for it because I get it virtually every time. All right, but normally I am not taking any of those risks. I'll pin them back and I'll do it that way. And I'm not even trying long field goals here, even though it's indoors, Dan, because right now I'm not loving Josh Elliott. I'm not sure that, again, he gets it. Now they get the ball at midfield. So no, I'm not even going to play that game with him. I got the better team. What the Eagles have to understand going in is they've got the better team. Play like you're the incumbent. Play like you're the team that has to be beaten because you're better. And if they believe that going in, they'll win. They're going to win this damn game. I'm ending this season better than I started it. Winning the Super Bowl. That's a prediction, and I'm going to salvage my year with a Super Bowl.
I'm going to ask you the number here in a second.
Yep.
But I'm going to ask you this one first before that. Myles Garrett wants to play in Philly.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh.
he said it. He was on with one of the hosts of WIP, and he goes, that'd be an insane destination. And if there's a GM that can make it work, now he's owed $79 million, Angelo. Would you, and you know that they're going to want a Ferrari for a Ferrari, would you give up A.J. Brown in the draft pick for him?
Yeah, I would.
Me too.
I love A.J. Brown. But
Me too.
Do you understand next year the Eagles have just Nolan Smith under contract as an edge rusher?
Yep.
Right? Hello? Is there a better fit?
Hey, wait, watch this, Angelo. Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Myles Garrett. And your linebackers are going to be Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean. Your corners are Q, Deshaun. Then you got Sidney Brown and you got Gardner Johnson. I mean, you have the best. You bring back the best defense in the NFL if you do that when you put Myles Garrett, who's going to Canton on the first ballot.
Well, let me just say this, all right? And I wasn't always a big fan of Howie Roseman. If there's one GM in the NFL who could figure out a way to give the Browns what they want, to get Garrett onto their team, it's Roseman. And I guarantee you, just based on what they just did with Barkley, right now, even before the Super Bowl, he's saying to himself, oh, well, how can I do this? Right? And he could do it. He'll find a way to do it. I am not dismissing that at all. Now, the Browns are not going to want to trade the guy because he's awesome. But if they have to, you know, the way it is now at Stars, they command their own future. I wouldn't rule it out.
Oh, no, I think it's a real play.
This year
what I don't want to see, Angelo, is him in Washington because they got $100 million and 10 draft picks because that makes Washington better, and that's a divisional foe there too. So don't want to see that.
Let's get Myles Garrett chasing after Jaden Daniels. How would that be? No, I'm telling you something right now. This championship that the Eagles are going to get on Sunday, the number one person to be honored for this is Howie Roseman. He did it. He turned around what was spiraling out of control by getting Barkley, having the draft he did, bringing in Bond, and all the other great moves he made. It's one of the greatest offseasons you will ever see, and it will be rewarded Sunday with a victory in New Orleans.
Are you shocked 24 months ago, 12 months ago, this team was in ruin? Now it's on the cusp of winning another Super Bowl. They're second in 8 years.
Shocked. Very rarely does a team's plan work so perfectly as this plan did. And it needed a little reset at the bye when they were 2-2, but they got the reset. The schedule helped them out for a while till they could really get themselves into a good spot. And they did it. And they're going to They're going to be rewarded for that on Sunday. And what's going to be great is the world will be back on its axis because justice will be served. The Chiefs will lose. Andy Reid, his little mustache will be bristling on the sideline. No more of all these stupid commercials with the Chiefs.
He says he's got one more year, Angelo. He says he's coming back for one more year.
I don't give a damn what he's doing. Once he's toppled, the magic ends. He's not the big happy-go-lucky fraud that you're all seeing, this national media thing. He's on the sideline, and he looks like a walrus. He's not, I lost. Oh, what a shame. I lost the Super Bowl. Makes you feel like I got Donovan McNabb again. Oh, yes, that's going to be my joy, watching that man lose. You understand? Lose. He's losing. And then the Chiefs will be gold.
I want to sneak this one in on you before the last question here. What's the score? I want to ask you, for you, in all the years you've been in Philadelphia covering this great city here, give me your 4 top athletes. And if Hurts wins on Sunday, who does he take out of that hierarchy? Or does he take out of that Mount Rushmore? The Angelo Cataldi Mount Rushmore of Philadelphia sports legends in your mind, from the Inquirer to IP.
All the way through. Wow.
All the way through. Give me your 4 Angelo Cataldi Mount Rushmore Philadelphia sports legends. And what if Hurts wins? Does he move into that?
He doesn't. He's not there yet. It's going to take a lot more than that. And, you know, I mean, you could argue the star of the offense this year is not even Hurts. It's got to be Barkley. So it's too early to put any of those guys in. Wilt is always number 1. Look it up. He's the greatest basketball player that ever played. He will always be number 1. The guy right behind you, see that guy right over your left shoulder? Bednarik. I used to work with his teammate, Tom Brookshire.
Yeah.
That's the toughest man that ever played football. At the end of his career, if you asked for directions, he would hold his hands up, and it was like 9 different places to go. His fingers were all broken. All right?
It was like a spider web.
So that guy's got to be in there too, right?
Yep.
I got to put a flyer in. That whole dynasty thing was 10 years before I came to Philly.
Okay.
So I wasn't here for it, but I did get to cover him. I'm going to put.
Is it Perrant or is it Clark?
Yeah, I'm cheating here. I'm going to have like a 2-headed horse. I'm going to have Perrant and Clark because they were intricately involved. Neither
Bernie Clark.
One with either.
Bernie Clark. Bernie Clark. That's what we'll call it.
But I got to put those 3 in. And the 4th one, wow, I got to put a baseball guy in. So I got to put in the greatest third baseman ever, Michael Jack Schmidt. He won a championship too. He deserves it. But there's a lot of other great candidates. Allen Iverson's got to be considered. He's amazing. There's so many great ones. But the guys you're seeing now,
Malone?
Excuse me,
Malone?
No, not yet. Dr. J, if anyone from that era, Dr. J for sure. But I want to see. I want to see the way this era plays out for this Eagles team because this is as good as it gets. And can
Hurts get in that upper echelon of those 4 guys if he wins? This will be his 2nd Super Bowl, Angelo. And if he gets a win,
yes,
you know, I mean, now you're starting to talk about the amount of wins, 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl. You beat the GOAT. You know, I mean, he's the only quarterback ever to play in 2 Super Bowls that started at the beginning of the year. Started the game.
But he's a kid yet. He's young.
No, I got it.
He's young. He's got more than half his career to go. So let's see how it plays out. I like him. You know I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts, and I like the way he's conducted himself this week too. He's himself, and that's what you need. He's a guy with dignity and intelligence, and he'll be there for them Sunday.
All right. What's the score on Sunday, in your opinion?
Now, I want you to understand, I don't just feel the pressure of having the worst prediction in the history of your show and the history of my time on the air. So I don't just want to be right here. I want to get it about as close as I can. I spent a ton of time while I was sick, right, to make sure I got this one right. Final score Sunday in the Superdome. Eagles 31, Chiefs 20.
Wow.
It won't be that close. They will win by double digits. They will win, and they will hold the Chiefs to a surprisingly low number.
You think it's a blowout?
I'm not
11
quite a
points to
blowout,
that
but
team?
it's going to be in the fourth quarter. There'll be all these people in Philadelphia getting their families together to go down to the areas, Frankfurt and Cotton, all the areas where they go to climb up on the greased poles, right? And to make a ruckus. They're going to be out before the last snap this time because the game's going to be over. It's going to end with kneel downs.
Are the Eagles going to invite you to the parade?
I'm not going. You understand? I'm not available. I still have germs from the flu.
Angelo, great stuff. Hey, wait, please. Listen.
Yeah.
Monday. Do I have you?
No, Monday. Let me check my schedule. Well, even Monday's wide open there.
Hey, wait, we're bumping Howard.
I can't believe it. The day of this.
Angelo, pick any damn time you want. Don't worry, I'm bumping them.
Yes. You pick it. I'll be here Monday to take you. And hopefully I will redeem myself for the stupid stuff I said at the beginning of the season. Hopefully.
Make sure, folks, you check out Angelo's blog, his book. Make sure you get all of that stuff. It's on audio as well. He was the heart and is the heart and soul still, in my opinion, of what sports talk is in Philadelphia. They've gotten awful soft over there at IP. It's kind of like Wheezy Radio now, but hey, I mean, he was the one. Look at this. Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Angelo's got him
7 years old. This
31-20.
What this is from 2017 season, and Papa needs a new lid. All right.
31-20. I want to make
31-20. Because this is going to redeem all the dumb stuff I was saying before.
Angelo, thank you, my friend. Continued great health to you. Thank you so much, my friend.
And my pleasure, buddy. Take care.
Go
Birds!
Holy cow. 120. All of you Eagle people are predicting blowout. Now, he even sounds like a guy who's going to come on at the bottom of this hour. Holy cow. Guys, hit the like button for me. Holy shit. Angelo just redeemed himself. I mean, pick 5 wins. Now he's picking a blowout. 31-20. That's a blowout to me. Kansas City doesn't lose games like that. Wow. Holy cow. All right, let's see what we got here. Eagles Nation. Oh, by the way, all supers go to the top. Xander, if we missed any, please throw them up there. Super Bowl in 3 days. And we in it, Sills. How you doing? Yes, sir. Okay, I can't wait to create history, Mr. International. Louis T. What do you think of Louis T? 31. Look at this guy. Dumb and Dumber. You redeemed yourself. Thank you, Philly D. Redeemed yourself. Hey, you're either going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. I love that. Hey, let's get the dice. That's what Big Sills does. You ain't going to hear him waffling on my takes. By the way, I pray. Can I tell you why I'm praying for Barkley to go for 200 yards? Why do you think I'm hoping for Barkley to go for 200 yards? Why do you think? Any guesses why? I hope Barkley goes for 200 yards. Do you have any guesses? Because it won't be the quarterback that'll win the game. It'll be because of Barkley. It had to be someone else get you the championship. Don't let him be the caboose on Sunday night that he went for a ride. He was a bus rider and not the bus driver. People have him as a Super Bowl MVP. If Barkley wins the Super Bowl MVP, going for 239 yards, and Hurts throws the ball for 92 yards and 14 completions, nothing will change. They had to bring in a ringer. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, you better hope that guy plays well. That's right. Mailman Hurts. I'm going to call him Cliff. Cliff Hurts. You guys won't know that unless you're my age when it comes to like cheers and shit. He's Cliff Clavin. Cliff Clavin, the mailman. Cliff Hurts. There you go. Ain't done. Oh, man. Cliff. Hey, Barkley's going to go for 200 on Sunday. Be your MVP. Hurts throws for 92 yards, and everyone's going to go, see, Sills? I told you Hurts can win. And he's going to get credit for wins. It's kind of like, hey, I get credit. Hey, get this. Who's the guy on the bench? Who's a great example of that in sports history that's got a bunch of rings? Who's the guy? Hey, yeah, who's that guy that played for the Lakers and the Spurs and the Rockets? Robert Horry. Robert Horry's got like 6 rings. And he was a bus rider. Hey, I got 6 rings. I got more rings than Bird. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, Steve Kerr, too. He's got like 5 rings or something. I don't know. How you doing? All right. Hit the like button, my friends. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Thank you guys for stepping in with us here. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Bunch of topics to still hit here. Do me a favor. We had him on yesterday. John Morgan, our great friend from Morgan & Morgan. So I wanted to show you guys our relationship that we had with John Morgan and Ultima, his wife, when we're talking about a law firm that represents the program and sponsors the program. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm in America. And we quoted these cases, $20 billion in recovered income for families that were injured because of Morgan & Morgan. Pennsylvania, I told you about the guy who was offered $650K, turned around with his team of attorneys at Morgan & Morgan, got that guy $26 million, almost $30 million, and the insurance company wanted to only give him $650,000. In Florida, $12 million was awarded to a family when initially the family was awarded $350K. John's team went in there. They ended up getting it done. We all know life is hard. This will be the easiest decision that you will ever make. Now, look, if you're ever injured, do me a favor. Check out our friends at Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win, okay? There is no fee unless you win. So for more information, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
This is Eric.